What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Misfire. What do we have here?
We have my new Everlast welding machine.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited.
This is a 211 SI, which does MIG, TIG, and stick, which is pretty cool. We literally just unboxed it. We haven't really even looked at it.
I still have to learn everything because I'm used to Miller or Lincoln. So I've never had an Everlast, but I'm very excited to have one. So this is the dial that helps me control my arc and volts and amps. So everything that I need to do. So these are the ports for my stick, TIG, and MIG. Not in that order. We'll figure everything out. I honestly don't know what each one is for, but I will get it. And
You are a professional welder, though.
semi. And then here is the, oh, it's a spin. Fancy. So I've never had a spin spool holder before. I've always had the push kind with the Miller or the Lincoln. So the spin with the spring is actually pretty cool. So if some of you don't know and more car people, you actually put the spool of wire on here. This is just the backer to hold the wire spool on. And I'll put it down backwards.
For all you car dummies like me that barely use welders ever, improperly.
So once you have the spool on of wire, it feeds into the actual wire mechanism. This is actually the tightening, how tight you want the wire to feed through. And that's where you change that tightening space. Or you actually can loosen it, Abby. So this is actually where you show what kind of wire you're actually wanting to, the thickness of the wire. So this is 0.9. Can you see it? XD.
Yeah, I think so.
And then here's 08V XD. So depends on which wire you're wanting, and then the wire will run along those lines right there. And then I apologize about my welding fingers. That's fancy. And it goes onto a specific place. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that keeps it on there. So pretty, self-explanatory.
For those of you wondering why Abby, my wife, is talking about all this stuff, I am not the professional welder here. If you don't already know, she works at Borla, has been welding a very long time. I am Mr. Backyard Farmer Welder Miller from 1984 welder, which I can stick things together.
You built a trailer that got here from California, towing the Nova.
That she hounds me relentlessly on how bad my welds are. But I will say,
I'm surprised it made the trip, but I'm proud that it did. I'm proud of him. I am.
listen, that trailer has gone not only 2,600 miles on a road trip from California to Tennessee, it also went on a road trip down to South Carolina and back, and went to a place to go pick up my wagon, and it's been a few other places along the way too. So it's gone a few places. It might not last 100 years, but it'll damn last 50.
Well, I started welding in my grandparents' shop, and so far from there, I welded in college classes. I went to college at Yuba College in California, and I learned how to weld pretty much every single process there. And then I moved on to Siemens, building light rails, JL Haley, building cancer radiation machines, and Burger Steel, building beams. And now I am in Tennessee, building mufflers, exhausts, and systems for under the cars at Borla Performance Industries. And I have now been there for a year, since December 12th, and super proud of that. Super excited to keep going there, see what my goals are, to see where I can go from there. So, yeah.
So just a little background on Everlast themselves. So this welder we got for about $1,000. It's like $1,050 out the door. And it's a multi-process, like I said before, so it'll do MIG, TIG, and stick. But I mean, it can do, I think it's like 3/4 of an inch MIG full one pass, which that's, I mean, heavy duty welder stuff. And there's a dog eating things underneath, so don't pay attention to her. But yeah, so I mean, Everlast is regarded as just as quality as Miller and Lincoln and like ESOB and places like that. I mean, they're very competitive with them, and being that they're an American company, but all their stuff I believe manufactured overseas, I think. But from everything that I've heard about Everlast, they have good customer service. They'll help you out with a lot of things. It should be pretty cool to mess with this, and it even shows got everything on the side. And being Mr. Old school welder guy, where I'm used to changing voltage with like changing ports.
The actual plug.
Yeah, changing the plug in the front of it. There's a bunch of like digital buttons and stuff here, which is really fancy, and I don't know what any of those mean. And I've never really TIG welded, so this will be cool to learn how to TIG. I'm gonna make some weird shit.
So, moving past the big stuff, everything the welder came with in the package that we got. Was it a Christmas package?
I think so. Yeah, this is one of their Christmas packages. So I think this is about $150 off what it normally says, quote unquote. I was checking the box and make sure there's nothing else.
Doesn't sound like it.
If there's no stickers in here, I'm going to be very upset. I'm only here for the stickers. Because it's from Australia.
Australia.
Sheena.
Yeah, but...
The 8-year-old didn't know what he was doing, okay? He was putting reverse threads on everything.
It doesn't spin, it's just a push on.
What you think, Holly? Ooh.
I hope the liner's good.
North.
North Technology.
USA. USA.
USA.
We'll put this on there.
Protected at all costs.
Protect. That's the important one. That is fancy.
Oh, that's my gas gauge.
Oh, for the
gas.
For the gas, yeah. Gas tank.
It's like Christmas all over again.
There's your pedal.
Tiggy.
What do you think is up there? You approve it, Holly? Yeah? Okay, give him the 2 tail wags.
We might need your knife. Just kidding. Get it out of there. That's the trash box.
ASMR.
Oh, filed down my nails.
Sandpaper.
Okay, so from what I've heard about their grounds, I've seen a lot of people replace them. Not saying that they're bad, but not as good quality as you're going to want to weld. A lot of people go and get them online or actually go to Miller sites, Lincoln sites, because they do hold better grounds, not knocking Everlast, but you want it to be the best quality that you can get so that your welds turn out the way you need them to and to hold as long as they can. So, I mean, this ground is good for when you're starting and getting to a point where you've learned everything, but you're going to want a better one just so it'll last longer.
When you're trying to build, say, a roll cage or something like that, something that you really need to have the welds be quality,
right,
strong, strengthened, you really don't want them to be like, so what you're saying is this one will be good for like learning, making brackets, little things and stuff, but if you're working on like thick metal, things that you're gonna have a challenge with grounds, that one might not hold the ground the way it should, correct?
Right.
You don't know that for a fact because
the arc might not hit correctly to the actual part that you're working on.
And porosity.
Or table.
Porosity.
That's just gas. This would just make it spatter. No.
Splatter. Spatter. It was supposed to be in our shop. It's a Nova welding pedal. Okay, Welding Industries. We're gonna buy everything that they have. And it's gonna be, I'm gonna get them to sponsor us.
Wow.
That's how my brain thinks. I'll give this back to you. It talks. I'm just gonna make it talk.
Oh my goodness. It'll be on the floor.
Me.
But so they also gave us a gas line for your TIG and MIG, so your argon percentage and your 75-25 for MIG. So that's super neat. And then they also gave us a wonderful somebody want to adopt my husband?
I'm expensive. They won't want me.
Yeah. You and your car. Moolah. So they also gave us an awesome gas gauge for our gas when we get it. So we will be taking a very long trip to Airgas. Just cross his eyes.
Cross the streams. What is that?
Don't do it, kids. This is a
That's
port
the adapter
to,
for...
yeah. So
So
they even gave us an adapter for the welder to
go from it's 220 to 110. That's the voltage changes, I think, right?
which check your arc. Check how much voltage you have in those. Cause you might
Do
break
not
some
burn your
stuff.
house down, or at least pop breakers and melt your fuse pedal.
Yeah.
Anyway, the last one that I honestly don't care about, but you might care about it.
I learned with this.
See, I have no idea what that is. I'm just like, it's magic stick thing.
Sticky Doo. Oh my god. That'll be fun. Let's get some 7018. I like 7018, that's my favorite. But... it's the kind of electro. So, and then you have your stick. So, our dog made a funny noise, sorry. And then we have our stick whip. So this is for your electrodes, which luckily does not need gas. So if you're ever gonna learn and you want to try something simple, something easy, start with stick. Some people say it's the hardest, but honestly it depends on the user and how much training you have. This would be the easiest to start on if you're truly wanting to just learn how to weld, get the feel of it, get the process that you're trying to get. Get the process that you're trying to get. Oh my god. If you're trying to get the welds that you want and you just want to learn, try something new, stick is where it's at. You only need to go and buy electrodes. No gas is required.
The piece de resistance to the whole reason why we got a multi-process and not some cheap MIG was this. So we already talked about the pedal, and if you don't know what the pedal is for already, that's for TIG. So you have to have your hand, you have to have, it's a whole monkey motion of like playing guitar or piano, some...
Monkey motion.
Yeah, you gotta use your foot, you gotta use both your hands, you have to know what's happening all the way around
Sometimes,
everything.
unless you're going autogenous.
That's a big word, I don't know what that means.
Means no filler metal.
Okay, so you're using one hand and this one's, doing whatever you want it to do, high-fiving people. And you're using this pedal instead of a finger on the gun like MIG. So that's what the pedal's for. But TIG is really cool because you get to weld aluminum,
Grips long.
right?
Aluminum, steel.
Titanium.
Never seen anything like that in my life.
It's a butt. It's zip tied on there.
I don't know why it's zip tied.
Can they at least cut the zip ties? Nope, they can kill you. We're gonna have to redo this.
Well, I don't think this needs to stay on
What is
unless...
that for? Because it's in the...
Well, I have my pedal.
Right,
So
it's in there. I don't know what that could be. So that goes here.
Well,
Oh yeah, that's instead of
the pedal.
See? I assume it goes in the same place.
Oh, that's weird.
So I guess if you wanted to use
That
a button instead of this, I guess that's your option.
that hurts me.
That's weird. I've never seen that before.
That hurts me.
That hurts. And there's your fancy welder cups and stuff to keep the gas maintained into the
Lock the
level.
cup.
Whatever that means.
These are long. Means what it means.
It is because of the way it is.
Okay, so we have
And
5.
there's water too.
We have 5, 6, and 7 size.
Is that millimeters? Communist measurement?
I don't know. That's just what they tell me, and that's the specs.
Okay, 5, 6, and 7 are the cups that we have. This also has the ability to have water hooked
They're
up to it,
also
I think.
ceramic, so do not drop them ever.
See, in here I thought these are rubber.
No. You drop them, you die. Death to you. I will hurt you. Say it again. Death to you.
He grabs something and just throws it on the ground.
So, this is probably the hardest part that you'll ever get to make. And there she blows. That is so weird. I've never had this long of cups before.
That's a really long cup. But I guess your tungsten would be out here, right? So
I'm still probably gonna get different cups because I want Furyk.
yeah.
Big time.
I don't know what that is.
They're actually here. They're from Tennessee.
That's cool.
Yeah. But there's your gun.
With the zip tied on trigger.
I'm still like, what?
Yeah, you just give your good last overall impressions and everything.
So, I'm honestly very pleased with what this package came with. It's very well rounded, very, I guess, starter friendly and intermediate friendly. There's a lot that you can do with it. Yes, I haven't welded with it yet, but I am very pleased with the outcome of our purchase and excited to get it on its first go. So, which we will definitely be recording.
Yeah, having never opened or unboxed a welder before, because like I said before, the only welders I've ever been messed with is literally ones that were like 30, 40 years old. And everyone that was a welder that came over to our house was like, wow, that's an old welder. And I'm like, I don't know.
It works.
It glues things together, I don't know. So seeing like fancy, clean things and like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. And then seeing like that size welder, because the welders that we had were a lot bigger, and the fact that that one can do everything that basically took up an entire quarter of our shop.
And then
It'll be cool to see it'll be cool to see what this ends up doing and how well it actually performs and what we're thinking it's gonna do. And for both of us to be able to compare, because you've used Lincoln, you've used Miller.
I've used ESOB and a bunch of different ones. But Fronius was definitely one of the top tier ones that just blew my mind. The fact that you could change your amps and volts from the actual whip itself on the MIG gun. But
That's part.
yeah, sorry. But no, I'm very pleased and happy with what we've got for the money that we spent, especially. Not to disclose on that, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, it was less than $1,100.
Still a pretty
So-
penny, but I mean, for some,
It's expensive, but compared to like say a Harbor Freight welder or something like that. But comparing to say a Miller that will do the same things that this does, I mean the cheap Millers that do the same thing this one does are like $2,500, $3,000. So I mean they're expensive, and Lincoln is the same.
she was pawing my leg.
Yes, she was. Holly.
Hollyco.
I remember. But yeah, so I mean, if you compare this one to say Miller, Lincoln, ESOP, I mean, they're just more and more expensive. So it'll really be interesting to compare this one to I mean, for you to compare everything, me, it's gonna be like, wow, so this is what a new welder's like? And you're gonna be like, yeah, idiot, this is what I've been telling you. But yeah, so I think that's all we have for you guys. Thank you for watching us unbox our Everlast welder. Be sure to like and subscribe as we keep rolling up and up and up, and hit that notification bell when we start making videos using this. You'll be able to see. So with that being said, we'll see you guys later. Peace.